students, and hello future licensed professional teachers, and welcome to Educativo Show. And I am your host for today, Almer Nas Marinas, and yung kasanda on the different significant topics on education. Tara at makichika. Today's hot topic is all about concerning the global landscape and competencies on the 21st century teachers. And to impart us the knowledge on this topic, let's welcome virtually our guest for today. Let's have Mom Cameron, Mom Queenie, and Mom Shine. A round of applause, please. Hello to our dearest teachers, and welcome to our show. Can you introduce yourselves?
Yes, hello viewers. I am Cameron Gumera, Teacher 3.
And I am also Queenie Pearl Anjay Noynay, Teacher 3.
And I am Shine Marie Dawan Queno, a Teacher 3.
Okay, so how is your teaching job so far?
Well, so far so good. Teaching today is quite challenging, yet assuring since we have diverse students to deal with. But it's fulfilling naman since we could be able to teach students even with the crisis.
Yes, of course. It's true that teaching today is quite challenging since there are a lot to consider when teaching the learners, of course. The pedagogical, strategies, the content, and more.
Okay, so to start with our interview, so let's play a game called Fast Talk. I know you're very familiar with it. And let's talk about the changing landscape of the 21st century teachers. Okay, game teachers? Alright, so let's start. Okay, so let's start the game first. Teacher-centered or student-centered?
Student-centered. Students are the center while teachers promote learning and assist students in becoming reflective and accountable for their education. It gives opportunities to students to be part of the learning process, and they involve themselves on learning the topic by making the self-directed activities, exposure to individualized programs, self-learning, self-actualizing processes, methods, and self-rewarding through multiple sources of learning, network learning, and unlimited opportunities.
Next, traditional classroom or borderless?
Borderless. Education becomes borderless since it can now cater a wider range of methodologies in teaching, since classes can now be conducted in online, offshore campus, and technology-assisted teaching. That is why education can be a lot more flexible than would address the necessity of every individual and can learn whenever and whenever they want.
A word on self-disciplines or has room for creativity, innovation, and integration?
Has room for creativity, innovation, and integration. Further, students are encouraged to be innovative and creative. They are exposed to a setting from which they cannot escape without thinking, since they are given a lot of learning opportunities that give them a chance to show off their skills. Through self-directed activities, they can become creative and innovative to present their tasks and given freedom to choose how they would present their outputs.
Next, no IC integration or with ICT integration?
With ICT integration, there is the use of ICT, which information is communicated, created, disseminated, stored, and managed using a variety of ICT techniques. It gives students an innovative and customized possibilities for expressing their understandings and better equip them to cope with the constant technological change in society and the workplace. It also gives help to teachers to update their current pedagogies that there is inclusion of ICT functions in the learning process. It is used as references, visual aids, presentation, and other possible materials from ICT tools.
Next topic is all about the new learning contents. Discipline-based curriculum or integrated and interdisciplinary curriculum?
Integrated and interdisciplinary curriculum. Integrated in interdisciplinary curriculum examines a central theme, issue, problem, topic, or experience by integrating the interconnected knowledge and abilities of several subject areas. It focuses on organization of teaching matter that interrelate or unify the subjects which are frequently taught in separate academic course. Here, teachers organize and capsulize the curriculum around common learning across disciplines to emphasize interdisciplinary skills and concepts. For example, you are teaching PE on the topic of Philippine folk dance and you integrate history subject on your lesson discussing the history of the folk dance.
Next, supply-driven or demand-driven.
Demand-driven. Education customizes the practical aspect based on what the students really need to learn and not based on what is already set and available. It is a program placed a greater emphasis than ever on ensuring graduates are job ready and have lifelong access to fulfilling professions. Demand-driven education adjusts to the learners' and employers' demands and teaches content that is relevant to the demand and need of the society.
Individual learning or collaborative learning.
Collaborative learning. The learning content are on collaborative works with group projects and activities made possible than individualized learning. This time, it helps students to develop the main 21st century skills, the 4Cs: communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking, which it could be a best to attain when doing group tasks wherein they work in a team in order to come up a very good output. More so, this approach could actively engage learners to process and synthesize information and concepts rather than using rote memorization of facts and figures.
Next, academic subjects are prioritized or academic and vocational concepts are balanced.
Academic and vocational concepts are balanced. Unlike before, purely academic subjects was given focus such as science, mathematics, minor literature, arts, and music. But today, it gives emphasis now on both scientific and mathematical or technological and literacy, vocation or music content of education. Therefore, we have what we call K-12 program and TESDA, in which this offers learning contents that focuses not just on academic, but also teaching them vocational skills that would help them to be skillful on other areas that is beneficial when they apply jobs after school.
Next, traditional or multidimensional.
Multidimensional. It consists of first, face-to-face, in which learners and teachers are confined in the same learning space at the same time. Second is the distance learning, in which teaching is mediated by modules or modern technology, online or offline, synchronous or asynchronous. The third is the blended modalities, which is a combination of face-to-face and distance learning. And the last is experiential and lifelong, in which learners are immersed in a real-life situation such that learning becomes more authentic and meaningful.
And for the new types of learners, are they stagnant or adaptive?
Adaptive. Learners are adaptive since they understand the concept of where, when, and how learning occurs and take place. It promotes learners to adapt to the changes in the learning environment, strategies, and people they socialize with. They don't matter even if they conduct classes under the proprietary or their teachers have different teaching styles, since these new learners are capable of being adaptive to the situation and flexible when something is changed. Like when we transition to blended classroom, though at first everyone is adjusting, yet through time everybody had adjusted.
Next, are they book-based learner or self-directed learners?
Self-directed learners. These learners have high level of curiosity since they do have a lot of questions and always want to know the whys and how of things. They know how to adapt with the environment and how to use their resources and mostly depend on their ability to construct their own learning.
Self-driven or have social and cross-cultural skills?
Have social and cross-cultural skills. The ability to effectively interact with other cultures is a definition of social and cross-cultural skills. This competency allows learners to understand and engage with other cultures. Social and cross-cultural skills require open-minded attitude, self-awareness, and awareness of others and cultural knowledge. These skills have never been more in demand as our technology allows for globalization.
Are they dependent learner or a productive and accountable one?
Of course, productive and accountable one. Because learners have the ability to create product using their skills by setting and meeting the goals, prioritizing the needs, managing time, collaborating and cooperating with colleagues and other people. They are students who are capable of doing creative and innovative tasks since they are already trained to become efficient students and they know how to perform their role as a student leader, and they know that they are already accountable of what they do or their performance in school.
Do their role only confined in the classroom or they consider civic responsibilities being able to lead and be responsible?
They consider civic responsibilities being able to lead and be responsible. Students are able to lead themselves and other people since they are exposed to self-directed activities that help to do work independently and responsible of their own actions. They know how to lead others since they are into collaborative work and teaming with other people that help them gain trust and confidence to do work in teams.
Okay, and then for the new types of teachers, why teachers have clear standard and accountability?
Teachers are very transparent and are capable of being an effective teacher since they are the one who mold the children. Teachers should impose standard teaching and that included the use of pedagogies, assessment tool, and integrative teaching. They will hold accountable to us to how the child will learn and develop since the learnings of the child lies between the hands of the teachers.
Centralized teaching strategies or utilize broad pedagogy and use of assessments?
Utilize broad pedagogy and use of assessment. Teachers utilize broad pedagogy that may aid learners' diversity. Practice differentiated instruction in order to meet the multiple intelligence of these students in order to promote holistic learning. Use various assessment tools in order to determine students' level of learning and determine assessment tools for teachers to know what evaluations to give. Being innovative, conducts research to customize teaching plans and solve classroom problems.
Further, they should be skillful in action research in order to diagnose and solve classroom problems based on evidence. It can help the new type of teachers to understand what is happening in their classroom and identify changes that improve teaching and learning. This will help teachers to answer questions about the effectiveness of specific instructional strategies, the performance of particular students, and classroom management techniques.
Are there relevance of practicing core values of an inspiring teacher in developing life career skills for 21st century and beyond?
Teachers are responsible for the overall development of society. With their education, the students build an educated, capable workforce. Upon processing and exhibiting these core values, teachers should be able to appear as better leaders, facilitators, and educators. Further, professional development is necessary for teachers. You are attending professional development courses that will increase your expertise in your field, and as a result, It will build confidence in the work you do, and it leads you to become an effective and efficient teacher.
Okay, wonderful. And that ends our fast talk. And indeed, you had shared your thoughts and points on these topics. And to dig deeper on this topic, let's talk about now the 21st century teachers' competencies. This competency is correlated to the UNESCO's ICT's competency framework for teachers, which this framework, which is part of the range of the initiatives of the United Nations, which aims to promote educational reforms and sustainable economic development, anchored on the principles and objectives of the Millennium Development Goals, the MDG, and the Education for All, or EFA. And this framework also specifically aims to equip our teachers to be able to do their roles in achieving these following societal goals. These are: build workforces to have ICT skills, enable people to be knowledgeable and resourceful so they are able to make informed choices, manage their lives effectively, and realize their full potentials, and foster cross-cultural understanding, tolerance, and have peaceful resolution on the conflict. So the UNESCO's 24th century approach to education reform is based on the human capacity development as researched by the UNESCO that is applied on the six components. These are policy, curriculum, information and communication, technologies and ICTs, organization, and teacher and training. So first one is we talk about technological literacy. Its goal to prepare learners, citizens, and workforce taking up new technologies so as to support societal development and improve economic productivity. For knowledge deepening, the goal is to increase the ability of the workforce to add value to society and economy by applying the knowledge of the school subjects to solve complex problems encountered in real-world situations of the work, society, and of the life. And for the knowledge creation, its goal is only to increase the productivity by creating students and citizens and workforce that is continually engaged in and benefit from the knowledge creation and innovation. So at this moment, again, my guest teachers. So let's again play a game. This time, you are just going to pick a number, and that number have designated topics to be discussed upon relating it to the 21st century teacher standards. Alright, so let's start.
Okay, teachers, please pick a number.
I pick number 1, which is the policy. In technology literacy, teachers should be aware and must practice these policies in practice. Teachers should know how to responsibly follow the policies in the education and how to responsibly integrate technology in the implementation of the policies. For knowledge deepening, they must have deep knowledge on national policies and social priorities, and must be able to design, modify, and implement classroom practices that support these policies. Teachers should know how to act according to the law and his profession and incorporate his classroom the necessities or priorities of the society. Teachers should create routines or policies in the classroom for students to become disciplined and law-abiding citizens. This just pertains to classroom rules and the do's and don'ts policy. For knowledge creation, they must understand the intention of national policies and be able to contribute to the discussion of education reform policies and participate in the design, implementation, and revision of programs intended to implement these policies.
So I picked number 2 on curriculum and assessment. For technology literacy, have firm knowledge of the curriculum and assessment standards of subject and must be able to integrate use of technology and technology standards. Teachers should be adept with that comprises the curriculum and integrate technological tools in the pedagogy for the class in order to provide various learning opportunities. Knowledge deepening must have deep knowledge of their subject and the ability to apply it flexibly in a variety of situations. Teacher should have content knowledge that he knows what content to teach and assessment to be utilized to measure students' learning, and then with that, technological knowledge would take place helping to integrate the lesson and different ICT tools in order for students be exposed to different learning experiences. Knowledge creation must know about the complex cognitive thought process, know how students learn, and understand the difficulties students encounter. Teachers should know what exactly his students are, identifying their strengths and weaknesses, and in what way does his learners could learn best. From that, the teacher could address students' concern and give immediate intervention that helps students attain learning.
I pick number 3, which is the pedagogy. In technology literacy, they must know when, where, and how to use technology in the classroom, such as activities, presentation, and etc. Teachers should incorporate ICT tools in their teaching pedagogies, like starting to use learning materials and activities that are technology-based in order to maximize the use and function of these ICT tools. Knowledge deepening must have the skills to help students create, implement, and monitor project plans and solutions. Since teaching is student-centered and the teacher's role is to structure problem tasks, guide students' understanding, and support students' collaborative projects. Since the tasks are self-directed and teachers should only to supervise and facilitate students' learning. Students should know how to effectively guide students' learning through giving feedback and evaluating their performances. Knowledge creation rule is to overtly model learning processes, structure situation in which students apply their cognitive skills and assist students in their acquisition. Teachers should use pedagogies that are adaptive to learners, in which it should relate to real-world scenario that students could be able to apply this learning in the different situations.
I pick number 4 on ICT. Literacy, teachers literacy, no?
Literacy.
So I pick number 4 on ICT. For technology literacy, teachers must be well versed with basic software and hardware operations, different applications, web browsing, and more. Teachers should be technology literate on the use of different ICT tools, since it would help teachers as an aid in his instruction and teaching strategies in order for students to learn and experience more learning opportunities. Knowledge deepening must be aware of a variety of subject-specific tools and applications and able to flexibly use these in a variety of problem-based and logic-based situations. Teachers should identify what ICT tools are best to use on these particular subjects, which would target in its content. And also, they must use network resources to help students collaborate, access information, and communicate with external experts to analyze and solve their selected problems, like introducing them networking sites that will aid as their learning guide and reference of the lesson. Knowledge creation based knowledge communities and use ICT to support the development of students' knowledge creation skills and their continuous reflective learning. Teachers should continually utilize these ICT tools for daily basis in order for students to adapt with its use and be able to continue create innovations and learning out of utilizing these technologies for teaching and learning.
I pick number 5, which is the organization and management. In technology literacy, they must be able to use technology with the whole class, small groups, and individual activities to assure equitable access. Teachers should know how to maximize the use of technology when conducting classes and how to organize and manage the implementation of these activities in order to promote holistic learning. And knowledge deepening, they must be able to create flexible classroom environment. Since teachers are adept with content technological knowledge, expect that with organization and management, they could manifest to have progressive class wherein students are interactive even when classes are held in different settings. With the use of technology, it promotes flexible classroom environment that classes can be held in face-to-face as well as in an online environment, thus education can be borderless. And in knowledge creation, they should be able to play a leadership role in training colleagues and in creating and implementing a vision of their school as a community based on innovation and continuous learning. Enriched by ICT, in here, teachers should take part trainings and leadership conference that would help teachers to develop their management and organization skills that is useful in handling classes. Teachers should engage on progressive training in order to update their current knowledge on dealing with students since today. Education is emerging and changing its way for development.
So I pick number 6, which is the teacher professional development. For technology literacy, must have the technological skill and knowledge of web resources necessary to improve subject matter expertise and pedagogical knowledge in support to own development. Teacher should become technologically competent in which he knows how to use different ICT tools and sites that would support his teaching. With this skill, teacher can upgrade the quality of his pedagogies in incorporating timely and relevant tools which students could engage and relate to. For knowledge deepening, must have the skills and knowledge to create and manage complex projects, collaborate with other teachers, and make use of networks to access information, colleagues, and outside experts in supporting their own professional development. Teachers should have the capability to use technology in a higher level and create other means or functions of ICT in education. In that sense, they should have responsibly make use of the technology, experts, and relevant people in gathering information that aims to develop the professional careers of teachers and improvement in their learning area. For knowledge creation, must have the ability and inclination to experiment and continuously learn and use ICT to create professional knowledge communities. Here, teachers should undergo continuous academic studies and participate professional development trainings, which would be a gateway to have continuous learning on their field in order to contribute to the current body of knowledge, which could become beneficial to students, educators, community, and to the country. Never forget to associate ICT in the learning and development process or progress, since it is a tool that would uplift the educational setting and other contexts as well.
Wow, that was wonderful. Indeed, 21st century teachers and competency standards are clearly discussed by our speakers, and I hope it gives you, our audience, the broader view of what was 21st century teachers is all about. Upon talking the changing global landscape of the 21st century teachers and the 21st century teachers' competencies, it should help you to become aware of the current demand and necessities that a teacher should be and have during this era. Let us all become an effective and efficient teacher today in the 21st century. Mabuhay ang profesyong guro hanggang sa muli. Bye.